want to first ask you guys to do me a favor. Subscribe to the Louie T Network for more great content if you haven't already done so. If you have, great. That is awesome. Turn on that notification bell. If you've already done that, then the last thing I'm going to ask you to do is hit the like button. Only 53 likes. There are over 160 of you out there watching this live. So please hit the like button if you have not done that to this point. I'm going to go ahead and thank you in advance. Got a super chat, and it's from my man Colton Wheeler. I really do appreciate you, Colton Wheeler. Thank you so much for your generosity. Greatly appreciate you. My man Colton Wheeler writes, Lou, just want to pick your brain. I watched all of your videos, and in one of the recent videos, you said you would probably take Patrick Surtain over Devonta Smith if both were available. Is that just based off of our team needs? Because I think Smith wins us more games. It's funny that you bring that up, because I just dug into some more Devonta Smith film. I mean, truly dug into it, because we're doing wide receivers this week on the Draft Prospects 101 series. And so, I watched Devonta Smith even going back to his freshman year, bursting onto the scene and catching the touchdown pass in the national championship game in overtime versus Georgia. Guy burst onto the scene. If you didn't know who he was then, you did after that touchdown grab, and he's just ascended from there. If he would have come out in last year's draft, he would have been a first-round pick. The assumption was he was going to come out, and he would have been a first-round pick last year. But he decided to go back to school and had one of the most historic seasons in college football history at the wide receiver position, set all kinds of records at Alabama and NCAA records, not just SEC records, but NCAA records for the receiver position with his yardage and touchdowns and all of that good stuff. Won the Heisman Trophy. And I'm sitting there watching his tape over the weekend, and I'm saying to myself, good God, this guy is electric. Man, what he would do to the offense if you were to add him. And I thought to myself, and I said, at 19, if this guy's there, man, would he be hard to pass up. And I like Patrick Surtain, but I'm not blown away by Patrick Surtain. I think he's good. I don't think he's great. He's not like the Patrick Petersons of the world that we've seen go in the top 5 of the draft at the cornerback position. I think he's good, I think he's like Kyle Fuller good, and that's not who I'm comparing to. I'm just saying I think he's like Kyle Fuller good. He's good. You'd like to have him, but he's not great. I don't think he's great. I think he's good. I think Devonta Smith has a chance to be great. You just watch him, and there's just something about him. I get it. Everybody's going to talk about his weight, and we'll talk more about this guy this week. But, man, is he good. I don't know. I'm starting to rethink that, Colton, honestly. As I was watching him, I said, I don't know about that. And I played that same scenario back in my head about, choosing Patrick Surtain. And yes, to answer your question, that was more based off of our needs. I think we need a corner more than we do receiver, especially after taking or signing Adam Humphrey. Now, Humphreys is only a 1-year deal. It's not like we signed him to a 3-year deal just like we did Curtis Samuel. We signed him to a 1-year deal. So he could be in and out. And so he'd be hard to pass up if he were there at 19. I still don't think he'll be there at 19. Someone's going to see this guy's talent and snatch him up well before he gets to Washington at 19. I'd be shocked if the Dolphins passed on him twice. I mean, they still have 18, right? Did they give that up in the deal with the Eagles? Did they give up that second first rounder? Or was that a future first rounder? I forget. Let me look at my sheet and see. I got it right here in front of me. Yeah, no, they didn't give up the 18th pick, which they hold. The Dolphins still have 18. I just don't see how the Dolphins, if they're not getting a receiver at 6, which I'm starting to kind of doubt myself on that, at 6, I don't see how they would pass on him at 18 if he's still sitting there. Like, how could you pass on him twice if you're Miami? So I think I'm starting to rethink that. I really am. I mean, we need cornerback, though. We really do. Like, much more than receiver at this point. But it's all about talent. You know how I feel about the draft, man. Like, forget about needs. Get the most talented player you can get. You can never have enough, unless you're talking about, a few positions on the field. Corner or quarterback and tackle being, two of those positions where you're like, look, I already got 3 tackles on the roster that I feel really good about. 2 starters and a swing guy. Drafting a tackle and those guys are under contract for the next 3 years. Like, what are you doing? Like, that's an insane pick. Same with quarterback. If you got a young quarterback, you're not spending a first round pick on another quarterback. That'd be insane. So, they're outside of those 2 positions. You can never have enough edge rushers. You can never have enough wide receivers. You can never have enough tight ends. You can never have enough defensive linemen. You can never have enough, interior offensive linemen. You can never have enough running backs. I mean, maybe you could have enough running backs, but you can never have enough talent on your team. Sometimes talent outweighs a need. A lot of times when you're in the draft, you want need and talent to kind of match up with one another in your selections, especially early in the draft. As you get later in the draft, to hell with, positions of need. It's all about talent at that point. You get to the 5th, the 6th, the 7th round, you don't give a shit about, is this guy fitting a need that we have on our roster? You're like, no, let's just get the most talented guy and we'll figure it out. But early in the draft, you're trying to draft for needs. You're trying to plug holes on your roster. So corner would more so satisfy what is a little bit of a hole on this roster. Whereas at receiver, you just say, look, like and the Cowboys are the example that I keep giving in last year's draft with CeeDee Lamb. They needed edge rusher more than they needed wide receiver. And they had an edge rusher sitting on the board. The edge rusher from LSU was sitting right there in front of them. They could have taken an edge rusher. They could have taken a corner. They needed cornerback help desperately. They ultimately got Trayvon Diggs in the 2nd round, but they could have taken a corner right there. There were several corners available at the time of their pick, but they didn't expect CeeDee Lamb to be there at the time of their selection, and they said, we can't pass up on this. I think they would have been perfectly fine re-signing Michael Gallup and just moving on with Gallup and with Amari Cooper and just keeping that group together, because Michael Gallup looks like a stud. He really does. And they've got a decision to make, and I think that decision is going to be ultimately to let him walk after this upcoming season, because he's going to be a free agent. And if he continues to play the way he's been playing, I don't think they're going to be able to afford him, but I think they would have been fine paying him. But now, after getting CeeDee Lamb, they can afford to let him walk because they still have enough talent to get by with Lamb and Amari Cooper. So I kind of feel like you do. Like, I don't know about him. I don't know about this, man. Devonta Smith, pretty damn hard to pass up if he's there at 19. I don't think he's going to get to 19, though, honestly speaking. I think somebody takes him before we get our chance to even select him. So we'll see what happens there. But thank you for the super chat, Colton Wheeler. You bring up a great point, one that I wrestled with over the weekend, and I think it is a conversation worth having. It really is. If you get there and there are 2 Bama guys that you love on the board, which one do you go with? You could make a strong case for Devonta Smith at this point. You really, really can. So, Louie.